Remember, the 5th of November, the movie that made that line legendary. V for Vendetta wasn't just a comic book adaptation. It was a revolution on film. Released in 2005, this dark political thriller redefined what it meant to be a superhero story. No capes, no colors, no happy endings, just one man, one mask, and one idea that couldn't be killed. It starred Natalie Portman, Hugo Weaving, Stephen Rea, and John Hurt, an ensemble that brought intensity, passion, and controversy to every frame. And 2 decades later, their lives and careers have gone through just as many twists, reinventions, and surprising transformations as the movie itself. So let's take off the mask and see where the stars of V for Vendetta are in 2025. Let's start with the fearless face of rebellion, Natalie Portman, who played Evie Hammond. In 2005, Natalie was already one of Hollywood's most respected young actresses, from Leon the Professional to Star Wars. But V for Vendetta was something different. She shaved her head on camera, for real, and gave one of the boldest performances of her career. Evie wasn't a damsel in distress. She was a woman who discovered her power in the face of tyranny. Her transformation scene became iconic, raw, emotional, and unforgettable. Critics hailed it as career-defining, and fans saw her as a symbol of female strength and resistance. Off-screen, Natalie was living her own transformation. She graduated from Harvard, built a production company, and became one of Hollywood's most vocal advocates for women's rights. Fast forward to 2025, Natalie Portman is a global icon. She's an Oscar winner, a philanthropist, and a producer who uses her platform to tell stories that matter. After a dazzling return to blockbuster territory with Thor, Love and Thunder, and her art house triumph in May-December, she's cemented her place as a rare mix of intellect, talent, and longevity. And yes, fans still reference her V for Vendetta buzz cut as one of the boldest beauty moments in film history. Natalie didn't just play a woman awakening to revolution, she became one. Now, the man behind the mask, Hugo Weaving, who played V. In 2005, Hugo was already legendary. After The Matrix and The Lord of the Rings, he'd built a reputation as the man who could play both philosopher and villain. But V was a different kind of challenge. He had to make audiences fall in love with a faceless character armed only with poetry, pain, and presence. Fun fact, Hugo wasn't the first actor cast. It is James Purefoy, who left 6 weeks into filming. But when Weaving stepped in, he didn't just replace him, he became the character. Through body language and that unforgettable voice, he made V a cinematic myth. After the film, Hugo continued his streak of legendary performances, from Captain America: The First Avenger to acclaimed stage work in Australia. In 2025, he remains one of the most respected actors alive, still choosing projects that challenge him, still avoiding the Hollywood spotlight. He may have taken off the Guy Fawkes mask, but his performance made sure it would never truly disappear, becoming a real-world symbol for activism, from anonymous to global protests. That's legacy few actors ever achieve. Next up, the man caught between duty and morality, Stephen Rea, who played Inspector Finch. Ray's quiet, layered performance was one of the film's emotional anchors, a cop discovering the system he serves might be more corrupt than the man he's chasing. Before V, Ray was already a veteran of politically charged films like The Crying Game, earning an Oscar nomination for his work. After V, he continued to build a career defined by integrity and intelligence. From The Shadow Line to The Honorable Woman, he stayed loyal to complex, morally gray roles. By 2025, Stephen Rea remains one of Ireland's most respected performers, often appearing in stage productions and mentoring younger talent. His turn as Finch still resonates as one of the best portrayals of quiet rebellion in modern cinema. And then there's the late, great John Hurt, who played Chancellor Adam Sutler, the film's terrifying embodiment of authoritarian control. Before V for Vendetta, Hurt was already British acting royalty. Alien, The Elephant Man, 1984, he was a master of transformation. His performance as Sutler was chilling, a tyrant whose every word dripped with menace and manipulation. Hurt continued acting until his final years, appearing in Harry Potter, Doctor Who, and Jackie. He passed away in 2017, but his legacy remains towering. In many ways, V for Vendetta felt like a poetic full circle. The man who once played Winston Smith in 1984 now portrayed Big Brother himself. Even in death, Hurt's voice still echoes across cinema, a reminder of how power and fear intertwine, both on screen and off. Let's not forget Stephen Fry, who played Gordon Dietrich, the charming talk show host hiding rebellion behind his humor. Fry's performance was heartfelt and tragic, showing that even those who smiled the brightest can live under immense fear. Known primarily for comedy before V, this role showcased his dramatic range. Since the film, Fry's career has only expanded. He's become a best-selling author, documentary host, mental health advocate, and one of Britain's most beloved public figures. In 2025, Stephen Fry continues to balance wit with wisdom, still narrating, still writing, still beloved. He's proof that intellect and humor never go out of style. Behind the camera, the Wachowskis produced and wrote the film, bringing their signature style and philosophical depth. Their fingerprints are all over V for Vendetta: identity, freedom, transformation. At the time, Lana and Lily Wachowski were still publicly known as the Wachowski brothers, but in the years that followed, both transitioned and became trailblazers for transgender visibility in Hollywood. By 2025, the Wachowskis stand as pioneers, not just for their visionary filmmaking, but for their courage to live authentically. V for Vendetta's message about liberation wasn't just in the script, it became their truth. Over the years, V for Vendetta has aged like fine wine. Once controversial, now prophetic. Its imagery of masks, censorship, and uprising feels more relevant than ever. The Guy Fawkes mask has become a symbol across the world, from protests in Hong Kong to Occupy Wall Street. And for its cast, the film marked a turning point, not just in their careers, but in their lives. 2 decades later, V for Vendetta isn't just a cult classic. It's a piece of cinematic history. Natalie Portman, the fearless intellect who became an icon of empowerment. Hugo Weaving, the faceless legend whose voice still inspires revolutions. Stephen Rea, the quiet conscience of a broken world. Stephen Fry, the wit who reminded us that laughter can be an act of defiance. And John Hurt, the titan whose legacy reminds us what happens when fear rules all. Together, they made a movie that predicted the future, and in 2025, we're still living in its shadow. Tell me, whose journey left you in awe? Was it Natalie Portman's fearless evolution from ingenue to activist? Hugo Weaving's unmatched mystique behind the mask? Or the Wachowskis' real-life transformation into pioneers of creative freedom? Share your thoughts in the comments. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more Hollywood then and now stories. Because every revolution begins with a story that dares to speak truth.